Hello friends, Olivia here, and welcome to my first ever booktube video on my booktube channel. I am going to be doing the newbie booktube tag, I think it's called. Okay, so the first question is, why did you start this channel? What pushed me to start this channel was, of course, because I love to read books, but it was also because last year I got to go to Cassandra Clare's book signing in Denver for Queen in the Air and Darkness, and meeting her was just an amazing experience. And she did a Q&A, and then she signed her books, and I had so much fun. But it was really nice to interact with other fans there who had the same passion of reading books, and of course were fans of her, of course. And it was just really nice because it's like I don't have that many friends who read. I barely do, who read the same books that I do, that reads the same amount that I do. So it's like, it's nice to come on here and talk about books and recommend books with complete strangers and just talk about something that I absolutely love and something that I've been doing for years. So it's just like, yeah. Question 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? This is a weird question because it's like I don't really see myself as unique, but I hope I can bring unique things to booktube, and I hope when people do watch my videos they do think I'm unique, even though in myself I really don't think I am. So it's just a little weird question. Question 3 is, what are you excited about this new channel? And of course is to talk about books with people and to recommend books to people and talk about books. I guess that's like probably what I'm really excited for, because like I said, I don't have many friends who actually read as much as I do. So being able to bond with new people about this passion is really exciting. Question 4 is, why do I love reading? That's a very good question. Why do I love reading? I love reading because I love being sucked into a different world, if that makes sense. Like, you know, disassociating yourself from society and the outside world and just being able to be a part of people's lives, because it's, you know, their stories and stuff. Just, I guess, just being able to be sucked into a story that's not my own, I guess. Question 5 is, what book series got you into reading? Okay, this is another great question. What book series got me into reading? Well, the first one, of course, is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, of course. When this book came out, or came to America, my older sister read the first book to me, and then when the second book came out, she read the second book to me because I was old enough to read. And then when I was old enough, I reread the first, second, and then I read the third, the fourth, and so on from there. So Harry Potter is a big part of my life, and I think that's what drove me to read, was probably the series, and it's probably one of my favorite beloved series, like, of all time. The second one is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. This series, well, the whole Chronicles of Narnia is just very different from stuff that I read, like even different from like Harry Potter. But as a kid, it was a little, I don't know, the stories are a little confusing to me. I know some of the stories have deeper meanings and stuff like that, but like I just thought they were very magical. And it's just the series really made me want to read more like fantasy books. Like, I know Harry Potter is a fantasy book, but like this one was just, you know, just kind of like Lord of the Rings. It was just like a game changer for me as a kid. And the third book I want to mention, or the third series, I'm sorry, is of course the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. And I remember getting these for my birthday and for Christmas every year and collecting them all. And I think I was 12 when the last book came out. I was like 12 or 13. I think I was 12. And oh my gosh, like this series really got me into mystery books, and it really got me into just adventure books too. It's just such a good series. I can't explain how much I love the series of Fortune Events. Okay, question 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? What question? Well, I think I probably would ask is, how do you get out of a reading block? Sometimes I get into a reading block and I just can't read for the longest time. I don't have to drive. The only books, you know I can read is just like some of my favorite authors. If they're still doing their series, I catch up with those, of course, but I don't branch out and read other books. And I'm just like stuck and I'm not reading anything. I think last year, before I went to Cassandra Clare's book signing, for a whole year I was just like barely reading anything. I don't think I read a single thing. I don't think I don't think I read Lady Midnight actually before her book signing last year, because I got the book when it first came out and I started reading it and then I put it down because I was like, for some reason I just had a reading block and I just couldn't read it, and it was just so sad. I was just like, I just couldn't get through it. And I guess it's because it was a new story and I miss, TMI, and I love the Infernal Devices, which is my favorite book series. So I guess I just couldn't really get into it, unfortunately. And then, like I mentioned before, when her book signing came up, the reading block was like gone. And I remember binging Lady Midnight in like 2 weeks, and then reading Lord of Shadows within like a week. I think I listened to the audiobook, and then Queen of Air and Darkness, I think I read it within a couple days actually. So all before January 2019, I got them all finished and I was so proud of myself. But yeah, sorry, I'm backtracking. That's the question I would ask my favorite YouTubers, is like, how do you get out of a reading block when you're stuck in it? Because it's so hard to actually like get out of it. Question 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Okay, so this goes back to question 6 about reading blocks. I think that's going to be the hardest challenge for me, is to not get into a reading block, and it's going to be the hardest to overcome, because it's like, I really hope like I don't get into my reading blocks, because once I'm in it, I just can't get out of it, and I just really hope I don't get into one. Okay, question 8 is, when did you start reading? I think I mentioned before that I started reading right when I could learn how to read, especially with the Harry Potter books. So I would have to say maybe like 6, 7, 8, I think. I'm gonna say 7. Question 9 is, where do you read? I read on my bed. I honestly cannot read if I'm sitting in a chair. I can't read if I'm in public. I can't read on the plane. It's just really hard for me to read unless I'm like somewhere comfortable. I keep on mentioning the book signing, but last year at the book signing, I was in my hotel room and I was actually comfortable there, and I was like reading the Lady Midnight on an ebook. So yeah. So yeah, I think my bad. I'm gonna go ahead and say, okay, the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? Okay, good question. Of course, most young adult books, fantasy, some romance, not too many sci-fi, I don't think, some mystery, and of course, I think I already said fantasy, but I recently got into contemporary books, and I absolutely love them, so I definitely want to read more contemporary books. So if y'all want to like comment or something recommending some really good contemporary books, because I definitely want to read more of those, and I definitely want to read more of dystopian books too. I think I only read a couple dystopian books. I feel like I probably read more if I think about all the books I read in the past, but I think it's just mostly, of course, all young adult, romance, and fantasy. I feel like I read most of. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so those were all the questions. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe if you want to. But yeah, I'm glad I finished all those questions, and then hopefully in the future I can start doing some book recommendations, book reviews. I think my first couple videos are going to be the TBR, the reading rush that actually started yesterday. This week I think that's what I'm going to really focus on, if I can get those vlogs done, hopefully. But yeah, like I said before, if y'all recommend any books, comment. And if I already read those books, I'll probably be like, oh, I read those. But yeah, I recommend any books, because I really need to start reading more books.